Mondo music, music that's for me. From the Southlands, East and Westlands, Music Mondo's gonna set you free.
Welcome to Music Mondo, the program that brings you the music, sights, and sounds of places around the world. I'm Brian Hall.
And I'm Yvette Harper. In the next half hour, you'll be listening to the music of Dario Domingues, tapping to tango rhythms and savoring Argentine food.
Dario came to Canada from Neuquén, Argentina, a country whose landscape is full of extremes, from the rich tropical forests of the north to the bold Antarctic ice caps of the south.
So relax, take your shoes off as we travel with Dario from Argentina to Canada.
We'll be right back.
Music, music Mondo, Mondo music, music makes me fly. To the Southlands, East and Westlands, from my homeland, music that won't die. Music Mondo!
Our first stop tonight is the Patagonian desert of Argentina.
As a young boy, Dario Domingues was a shepherd there. His first album, The Wind of the Andes, captures the vastness and ruggedness of this large tract of land.
The Patagonian region is a great arid pampa that stretches from Rio Negro in the north to Tierra del Fuego in the south, and from the Andes to the Atlantic Ocean.
Feel free to roam this desert. Don't be surprised if you meet Patagonian red foxes, red deer,
And seal, cacti, and stunted trees.
The first album, which was released in Canada under the title Wind of the Andes, and in Germany, The End of the Jagan's Journey, was two things. I was longing for the land that I left behind, and the other half, one song actually. It was dedicated to the Jagan's Indians, which no longer exist in southern Argentina, in Tierra del Fuego, or Fireland. This group disappeared at the turn of the century, and this was the subject of the first album. Perhaps the images that people can feel, that people can see, if they hear the music, is the music of the mountains and the desert of South America. The feeling is one of loneliness if you visit those areas. If people go there, they will feel it very, very deeply. There is something which is very peculiar specifically to that desert and those mountains, which is something you can't find anywhere else. The smell of the soil after the rain, the smell of the small plants in the desert, the sunset, the high mountains. This is something that I will never get back. And this is what transcends through the music, at least in that first album.
A self-taught musician, teaching himself how to make as well as play the traditional instruments and music of the native Indians, Dario came to Canada by way of Mexico. His arrival in Canada was marked by freedom and loneliness.
The freedom to explore and listen to the variety of music offered in Canada, and the loneliness and longing for the land that he left behind.
With this new freedom, he composed music incorporating the rhythms and sounds found in Canada with those found in his land of birth.
Caribbean tango is one such piece. It combines Argentine tango rhythms with rhythms and sounds originating from the Caribbean. Traditionally, the Argentine tango was fast, complicated, and very erotic.
It evolved in 1880 in the Rio de la Plata section of Buenos Aires. Combining Italian, German, and other influences found in this neighborhood, it was originally forbidden because of its immorality and provocativeness.
But Canadians aren't provocative.
That's right. We're more famous for our ability to compromise. That's why the tango you're about to see is a very tame version of the original.
Carlos Loyola and Sylvie Bernstein will dance this tame version on Buenos Aires.
You mean in Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina and the birthplace of the tango?
No, I mean on Buenos Aires. Just watch. You'll see what I mean.
You know, the United States was not the only country to have a Wild West.
Argentina had its own cowboys called gauchos who lived in the pampa areas. Wearing a poncho and knee-high riding boots, the only weapons these cowboys had were a knife and a boleadoras, a type of lasso used by Indian hunters.
These gauchos were free-roaming entrepreneurs who worked with large herds of cattle and horses.
They were descendants of Spanish and other European immigrants and the indigenous people in the area, such as the Araucanos and Mapuche Indians.
During Dario's next song, Bird of Paradise, we'll see the Mapuche and gauchos of yesterday and today. always do more than dance the tango.
They're great football fans, or as we know it, soccer.
In the afternoon, the cafes are full of people watching people.
They play chess.
And they also have the highest literacy rate in the world, standing at more than 90%.
They have over 8,000 bookstores, with some staying open 24 hours a day.
Argentina is a world producer of meat, so it's not surprising that meat is a main staple in their diet.
A typical informal meal is a locro, a type of stew using different meats. In this case, pork steak is used along with Argentine sausage, squash, dried corn, onions, tomato juice, and spiced with paprika, parsley, oregano, salt, and pepper. The pork steak is roasted and cut into small cubes. Then it is fried with garlic. To the tomato sauce, add paprika and well-chopped parsley. The onions are chopped finely and may be sautéed before mixing into the stew. Add the sautéed meat cubes and the corn, which is soaked overnight and boiled in water beforehand. Then add the fried Argentine sausage and let everything cook for another half hour.
And we just happen to have some right here. The locro is served in a casserole dish with wine.
And empanadas, a pastry turnover filled with ground meat, raisins, onions, and olives. Each region has its own special filling.
Dessert consists of delso de membrillo con queso, a jellied quince paste served with mozzarella cheese.
Many countries, like Japan, have their own tea rituals. Argentina has the mate, which is very popular with the gauchos.
The mate is made from dried leaves of the mate herb and is served in a container of the same name.
It is passed from person to person, so the drink is shared by the entire group.
That may be so in Argentina. Here, I think, it's a different matter.
First thing you do is just put a little bit of sugar in the bottom of the mate. You fill the mate, 3/4 of the mate. Then you fill the container with water. Who is going to drink it, Carlos? Who wants a mate?
I like it a lot, actually. It's very nice. Yeah. A very different taste, but very nice.
Sure, it might grow on you.
I didn't see any men drinking the mate. I hope that's not a comment on Canadian men.
I don't think so.
It's not uncommon to hear street musicians singing the most beautiful arias.
Speaking of street musicians, wasn't Dario one?
Yes, you're right. When I first came to Canada, I started on Spark Street, famous street for entertainers. And it took me almost 10 years to cross over to the National Arts Center.
You mean it took 10 years to cross the streets?
More on that later.
Music Mondo!
In 1981, he won the German Critics Award for his album, The End of the Jagan's Journey.
Despite this recognition in Germany, he didn't play at the National Arts Center until 1988.
Well, you know what they say, you never profit in your own land.
Dario, since your debut on the Spark Street Mall, you've produced several albums.
Yes, we produce 5 albums that are distributed in Europe. They are released in West Germany. And we've done several tours in Europe as well, Japan, South America.
Tell us a little bit about your future plans.
In the future, there's one more album coming up this year, and there will be an exhibition of my private collection of musical instruments from Latin America at the Museum of Civilization in Ottawa Hall.
How do you use your music?
I like to use the music to express, I guess, my feelings. And I guess that's what every musician, every composer is doing. And sometimes I like to express ideas that concern society. Mm-hmm. For instance, we've done an album that was released here in Canada in 1987, and this album had a cut which was dedicated to the people that are coming from, were coming from United States, Central American immigrants that were trying to seek refuge here in Canada. And the song was called Open the Doors. or let the doors open.
Abran las puertas para que entre la gente buena, caray. Abran las puertas para que entre la gente buena, caray. Abran las puertas para que entre la gente buena, caray. Abran las puertas para que entre la gente buena, caray. Latino, a gozar, ahí la lleva, qué rica la salsa, el ritmo de Latinoamérica. Las puertas para que entre la gente buena, caray. Abran las puertas para que entre la gente buena, caray. Abran las puertas para que entre la gente buena, caray. Abran las puertas para que entre la gente buena, caray. México, ahí viene. Guatemala, El Salvador, Panamá, Nicaragua, Brasil, Argentina. Salsa sabrosa, la música latina.
We hope you've enjoyed your trip with Dario.
Please write to us with your comments, or if you want tonight's recipes, address your letters to Act Productions, 199 Homewood Avenue, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, K1S 2P3.
Bye for now. As we close, we'll see Dario playing the song Africa Libra at the National Art Gallery in Ottawa.
Bye.
África libre y querida, África negra y unida, África libertad, África de igualdad, África libertad, África de igualdad. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. 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 África, sufrida, África, herida, África, negra, África. Vamos a ver eso, si se termina y vamos a ver eso. Vamos a ver eso, si se termina y vamos a ver eso. África, África, pide y grita libertad y igualdad. Why not, why not, why? África libre y querida, África negra y unida, África libre y querida, libertad, África de igualdad, África, libertad, África de igualdad. Oye, ye, ye, ye.